Maya Rodriguez wiped the sweat from her forehead as she finished cleaning the last hotel room on the 15th floor. Working as a housekeeper at the Grand Metropolitan Hotel wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills and helped support her sick mother's medical expenses. At 28, Maya had dreams of opening her own small business someday, but those dreams felt distant when every penny went toward survival. The luxury hotel catered to wealthy guests, and Maya had learned to stay invisible. Rich people didn't notice housekeeping staff, and that was fine by her. She preferred the quiet rhythm of her work, making beds with perfect hospital corners and ensuring every surface sparkled. That Tuesday afternoon started like any other. Maya pushed her cleaning cart down the marble hallway, her rubber-soled shoes silent against the polished floor. Room 1547 was her last stop before her shift ended. She knocked gently and called out, "Housekeeping!" When no response came, she used her master key and entered. The suite was enormous, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline. Maya began her routine, checking the bathroom first. That's when she heard it, a weak groan coming from behind the bedroom door. Her heart raced. Guests weren't supposed to be in rooms during cleaning time. Maya hesitated, then called out softly, "Hello? Is someone there?" Another groan, weaker this time. Maya pushed open the bedroom door and gasped. A man in an expensive suit lay crumpled on the floor beside the bed, his face pale and his breathing shallow. Blood trickled from a gash on his forehead, probably from hitting the nightstand during his fall. Without thinking, Maya dropped to her knees beside him. She had taken a basic first aid course years ago when she worked at a daycare center. The man's pulse was rapid but weak. His skin felt clammy. "Sir, can you hear me?" Maya gently shook his shoulder. The man's eyelids fluttered. "Help," he whispered. Maya grabbed the phone and dialed 911, her hands trembling as she gave the dispatcher the hotel address and room number. While waiting for paramedics, she elevated the man's legs with pillows and used a clean towel to gently press against the bleeding wound on his head. "Stay with me," she murmured. "Help is coming." The man's eyes opened briefly, focusing on her face. "Thank you," he managed before losing consciousness again. The next few minutes felt like hours. Maya continued monitoring his breathing and pulse, occasionally speaking to him even though he couldn't respond. She had learned that unconscious people sometimes could still hear voices. When the paramedics arrived, they worked quickly to stabilize the man before loading him onto a stretcher. One of them, a kind woman with gray hair, squeezed Maya's shoulder. "You did good, honey. Quick thinking probably saved his life. Looks like he had a heart attack." As the ambulance departed, Maya realized she was shaking. Hotel security had arrived, along with the hotel manager, Mr. Davidson. He was a stern man in his 50s who rarely spoke to housekeeping staff except to complain about something. "Rodriguez," he said, his voice cold. "What exactly happened here?" Maya explained, finding the guest and calling for help. Mr. Davidson listened with a frown that deepened with each word. "You entered a guest room without permission and interfered with hotel property," he said. "This is a serious breach of protocol." "But sir, he needed help. He was unconscious and—" "You should have called security first, not taken matters into your own hands. What if you had made his condition worse? The hotel could face a massive lawsuit." Maya's mouth fell open. "I was trying to save his life." "That's not your job. Your job is to clean rooms. Nothing more." Mr. Davidson's expression was stone cold. "I'm afraid this incident shows poor judgment and disregard for hotel policy. We can't have employees who don't follow procedures." Maya felt the ground shifting beneath her feet. "Are you firing me?" "Your employment is terminated, effective immediately. Security will escort you out." 20 minutes later, Maya sat in her beat-up Honda in the hotel parking lot, a cardboard box of her few personal items beside her. She couldn't stop replaying the conversation. She had saved a man's life, and it cost her the only job she could find. Her phone buzzed with a text from her mother. "How was work today, mija?" Maya stared at the message, tears blurring her vision. How could she tell her mother she'd lost her job? The medical bills were already overwhelming. Her mother's diabetes medication alone cost $300 a month. She drove home to their small apartment in a rundown neighborhood, dreading the conversation ahead. Maya had always been strong for her mother, but tonight she felt completely broken. As she climbed the stairs to their second-floor apartment, Maya wondered if doing the right thing was worth it when it led to such devastating consequences. Little did she know that her act of kindness would soon change her life in ways she never could have imagined. Maya spent the next 3 days job hunting, but every rejection felt like another door slamming in her face. Word had somehow spread through the hospitality industry about her incident at the Grand Metropolitan. Hotel managers would start interviews enthusiastically, then suddenly become cold when they made phone calls to check her references. Her mother, Rosa, had taken the news about the job loss with surprising strength. "You did what your heart told you to do, mija," she said, holding Maya's hands in her weathered ones. Sometimes doing right doesn't look like success at first. But Maya could see the worry in her mother's eyes when she thought no one was looking. The medical bills kept coming, and their savings were nearly gone. On Friday morning, Maya was filling out online applications at the local library when her phone rang. The number was unfamiliar. "Is this Maya Rodriguez?" The voice belonged to a professional-sounding woman. "Yes, this is Maya. This is Jennifer Walsh from Walsh Investigations. I'm calling regarding an incident at the Grand Metropolitan Hotel. Could we meet? I have some questions about what happened." Maya's stomach dropped. Was she being sued? What kind of questions? "Nothing to worry about, Ms. Rodriguez. I'm actually working for the gentleman you helped. He'd like to speak with you. But first I need to verify some details. Would 2 o'clock today work?" They met at a small cafe downtown. Jennifer Walsh was a sharp-dressed woman in her 40s with kind but intelligent eyes. She ordered them both coffee and opened a leather portfolio. "First, let me assure you that you're not in any trouble," Jennifer began. "Quite the opposite. The man you saved is Thomas Blackstone." Maya's eyebrows rose. Even she recognized that name. Thomas Blackstone owned a chain of luxury hotels and several other businesses. His face occasionally appeared in business magazines at the library. "Mr. Blackstone wanted me to investigate exactly what happened that day because the hotel's account didn't match what he remembered. He has some memory gaps from the incident, but he clearly recalls someone staying with him and helping before the paramedics arrived." Jennifer pulled out a tablet and showed Maya security footage from the hotel corridor. "This shows you entering his room during your regular cleaning schedule. The timestamp shows you were inside for 37 minutes before paramedics arrived." Maya watched herself on the screen, remembering that terrifying afternoon. "I stayed with him the whole time. I was afraid to leave him alone. The hotel told Mr. Blackstone that their staff found him and immediately called for help, but no one mentioned staying with him or providing first aid." Jennifer's expression hardened. "They also didn't mention firing the employee who actually saved his life." Maya felt a mix of anger and vindication. "Mr. Davidson said I broke protocol." Mr. Blackstone had a severe heart attack. According to his cardiologist, someone monitoring his condition and keeping him stable during those crucial minutes likely prevented brain damage from lack of oxygen. Jennifer leaned forward. "You literally saved not just his life, but his quality of life." Maya stared at her coffee cup, processing this information. "Why does Mr. Blackstone want to meet me?" "He believes in repaying debts, but first he wanted to understand exactly what sacrifice you made for a complete stranger." Jennifer's smile was warm. He's quite impressed with your character, Maya. Not many people would risk their job security to help someone, especially when there was no guarantee of recognition or reward. That afternoon, Jennifer drove Maya to Blackstone's private office in a gleaming downtown skyscraper. Maya had never been in a building so luxurious. The elevator ride to the 42nd floor made her ears pop. Thomas Blackstone looked younger than Maya expected, probably in his early 50s, with silver hair and intelligent gray eyes. He moved slowly, still recovering from his hospital stay, but his handshake was firm. "Ms. Rodriguez," he said, "I understand you've had a difficult week because of your kindness to me." Maya nodded, unsure what to say. "I've reviewed what happened at the hotel and I'm appalled by their response, but that actually tells me something valuable about your character." He gestured for her to sit in a comfortable leather chair. "In my business, I've learned that how people act when they think no one is watching reveals their true nature." Blackstone moved to the window overlooking the city. "I built my company on the principle that taking care of people creates success, not the other way around. You demonstrated that principle perfectly, even when it cost you everything." Maya's throat tightened. "I just did what anyone should do." "But not what anyone would do," Blackstone corrected. "You had every reason to walk away. You were just a hotel employee. He was just a guest. You could have called for help and continued your duties. Instead, you stayed. You comforted a dying stranger." He returned to his desk and picked up a folder. "I want to offer you something, Maya, but first I need to know about your dreams. Jennifer's investigation revealed you've been supporting your mother alone, working multiple jobs over the years. What would you do if money wasn't an obstacle?" Maya thought of all the nights she'd lain awake planning a small catering business, using her grandmother's recipes to bring comfort food to busy families. She'd researched everything from permits to pricing, but startup costs always seemed impossible. "I'd want to cook," she said quietly. "Start a small catering company. My grandmother taught me to make traditional Mexican food, and I think I could make people happy with food." Blackstone smiled. "Happiness through service. I like that." He opened the folder. "Maya Rodriguez, I'd like to invest in your dream." Maya blinked, certain she'd misheard. "I'm sorry, what?" "I'm offering you a business partnership, full funding for your catering startup, plus business mentorship and a guaranteed contract to cater events for my hotels." His eyes twinkled. "Consider it a thank you for saving my life, and an investment in someone who understands what really matters." Maya felt the room spinning. This couldn't be real. 3 days ago, she was unemployed and desperate. Now, a millionaire was offering to fund her dreams. I don't know what to say." "Say you'll think about it over the weekend," Blackstone said gently. "Monday morning, we'll discuss details if you're interested." As Jennifer drove her home, Maya stared out the window at the city streets, everything looking different now. She thought about her mother's words. Sometimes doing right doesn't look like success at first. Maybe, just maybe, her mother was wiser than she'd realized. Maya spent the weekend in a daze, barely able to concentrate on anything. She kept expecting her phone to ring with someone telling her it was all a mistake or a cruel joke. Her mother noticed her distraction during their Saturday dinner. "Mija, you've been stirring that soup for 10 minutes. What's going on?" Maya finally told her mother everything about the meeting with Thomas Blackstone. Rosa listened quietly, her weathered hands folded in her lap. "This man wants to give you money to start your cooking business?" Rosa asked. "He called it an investment, but yes. Mama, it's like winning the lottery, except I feel guilty about it." Rosa reached across their small kitchen table and took Maya's hand. "Why guilty? You saved his life. You lost your job for doing good. Sometimes the universe finds a way to balance things." "But what if I fail? What if I take his money and the business doesn't work?" Her mother's eyes crinkled with a smile. What if you succeed? What if this is God's way of rewarding your good heart? Monday morning arrived gray and drizzly. Maya dressed in her best outfit, a simple black dress she'd worn to job interviews, and took the bus downtown. Her reflection in the building's glass doors looked nervous but determined. Thomas Blackstone's assistant led her to a conference room where several people waited around a polished wooden table. Blackstone sat at the head, looking much healthier than he had on Friday. Beside him sat Jennifer Walsh and two other people Maya didn't recognize. "Maya," Blackstone stood to greet her, "I'd like you to meet my business manager, Patricia Chen, and my lawyer, David Hoffman. If you're ready to move forward, they'll help us structure this partnership properly." Maya's hands trembled slightly as she sat down. "I've thought about your offer, and I'm interested, but I need to be honest. I have no business experience beyond researching online. I might not be worth investing in." Blackstone chuckled. "Maya, I've been in business for 30 years. I can teach someone accounting and marketing. I cannot teach someone integrity and compassion. You already have the qualities that matter most." Patricia Chen opened a laptop and turned it toward Maya. "We've prepared a preliminary business plan based on your catering concept. Take a look." Maya stared at the screen in amazement. They had outlined everything from startup costs to projected profits, licensing requirements to marketing strategies. Her grandmother's traditional recipes were listed as key differentiators in the market. "You did all this research for me?" "Mr. Blackstone believed your idea had merit," Patricia explained. "The catering market in this city is underserved, especially for authentic, high-quality Mexican cuisine. Your background suggests you understand both the food and the service aspects." David Hoffman slid a contract across the table. "This partnership structure gives you majority ownership of the business, with Mr. Blackstone as a silent partner and advisor. He'll provide initial funding of $150,000, plus guaranteed contracts with his hotel chain." Maya's eyes widened. $150,000 was more money than she'd ever imagined having access to. "There's one condition," Blackstone said, his expression serious. "You have to quit apologizing for deserving this opportunity. I'm a businessman, not a charity. I believe this venture will be profitable for both of us." Maya took a deep breath. "Okay. Yes, I want to do this." The next hour was a blur of signatures, explanations, and planning. Maya would have 2 weeks to find a suitable commercial kitchen space, with Patricia's help. They would start with small events and build gradually toward larger catering contracts. As the meeting concluded, Blackstone walked Maya to the elevator. "I have a confession," he said. "The Grand Metropolitan Hotel was one of my competitors. After investigating how they treated you, I acquired their management company last week." Maya's mouth fell open. "You bought the hotel?" "I bought their management contract. Mr. Davidson has been terminated, and the staff will receive training on the values that actually matter in hospitality." Blackstone's smile was slightly mischievous. Sometimes karma needs a little help from good business practices. 2 weeks later, Maya stood in her new commercial kitchen, a converted warehouse space in an up-and-coming neighborhood. The equipment gleamed under bright lights, and boxes of spices and ingredients lined the shelves. She wore her grandmother's old apron, faded but carefully mended over the years. Her first official catering job was the next day, a small office lunch for 30 people. Nothing compared to the grand events she hoped to cater someday, but it was a beginning. Maya's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Looking forward to tasting your grandmother's recipes tomorrow. Break a leg. TB." She smiled, tying her apron strings tighter. Thomas Blackstone would be attending her first catering job, not as her business partner, but as a regular customer who had specifically requested her services for his company's monthly staff meeting. That evening, Maya called her mother from the kitchen. "Mama, remember when you said the universe finds a way to balance things?" "Of course, mija. I think you were right. But I also think sometimes we have to be ready to catch the balance when it comes. As Maya began prep work for tomorrow's menu, she thought about the strange journey that had brought her here. Losing her job for saving a stranger had felt like the worst thing that could happen. Now she realized it was just the beginning of something much better. Outside, 2 helicopters circled the city skyline, their lights blinking against the darkening sky. Maya watched them through her kitchen window and remembered the morning when similar aircraft had landed at her apartment building, bringing news reporters who wanted to interview the woman who'd saved Thomas Blackstone's life. She'd hidden inside that day, overwhelmed by the attention. Now she understood that some stories deserve to be told, especially the ones about ordinary people who choose kindness when no one is watching. Maya smiled and turned back to her prep work. Tomorrow would mark the official beginning of Rodriguez Catering, but tonight was for gratitude and her grandmother's recipe for mole sauce that had traveled across generations to arrive at this moment. The ingredients for success, she realized, had been with her all along,